Welcome to Advocacy Politics Unplugged, the show that will dissect critical policy issues, explore the art of advocacy, and share insights on how to make your voice heard in today's ever-changing political landscape. I'm your host, John Ravitz, the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the Business Council of Westchester. We want to thank our sponsors, Con Edison and Verizon, who sponsor Advocacy and Politics Unplugged. Con Edison customers, are you looking for an efficient way to heat and cool your home? Consider geothermal heat pumps. These innovative systems turn energy from the ground around your home into cooled or heated air for climate control, providing you significant energy savings and year-round comfort. Con Edison is dedicated to sustainability and helping customers save. That's why they offer incentives for installing geothermal heat pumps. Eligible homeowners could receive rebates that significantly lower their upfront cost. By choosing geothermal, homeowners won't just save money, they'll also reduce their carbon footprint and contribute to a cleaner environment. To learn more about geothermal heat pumps and available incentives, visit coned.com/geothermal. It's a smart choice for both homes and the planet. Don't just connect your business, make it even smarter. Partner with Verizon to gain the control, security, and speed to overcome challenges and adapt in real time. Verizon's cutting-edge networking technologies can help you build a strong, agile foundation for your organization. They help schools and small businesses access the essential technology they need to compete in today's digital world and are on a mission to help solve some of the biggest challenges the world faces today by leveraging their technology, innovation, and people. Verizon is working to open doors for many communities through digital skills training, grant opportunities, and more. To protect the planet for future generations, they're investing in renewable energy and improving the efficiency of their networks through the power of technology and shared knowledge. Verizon is helping people build the confidence to change lives for the better. And we're very excited about today's episode because we are continuing to talk about the work that the BCW's Clean Energy Action Coalition, CEAC, has been doing to help Westchester County build that reliable, affordable, and sustainable power system that we need. And we are going to be having our second annual Clean Energy Action Conference on April 14th at 1 Shady Lane Farm Road, which is Windrose-on-Hudson in Ossining, New York. We encourage anyone who is listening to this show who is interested in the changing energy landscape in Westchester County and in New York to attend. And you can go to our website at the www.thebcw.org to register for that event. But today, my two guests are the co-chairs of the Clean Energy Action Conference that will be on April 14th. That's Tony Gioffre, who is the managing partner at Cuddy and Feder, and Miguel Quintanilla, who is the principal of Collado Engineering. And let me give you a brief background on the two of them. They've been great partners for the Business Council of Westchester in so many different ways. Tony is a managing partner at Cuddy and Feder and was a member of the firm's management committee for over 10 years. He practices in real estate development, zoning, environmental law, and related litigation. And Tony regularly represents national developers, retailers, religious institutions, individuals, and telecommunication industry before municipal and state land use zoning and environmental agencies. Tony assists clients of all aspects of the land use permitting and regulatory compliance process, including compliance with the New York State's Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, which I'm sure we'll be talking about today. And he also regularly publishes articles and lectures across the country at continuing legal education seminars on current land use and zoning issues. He's also a New York State approved real estate instructor. Miguel is the principal of Collado Engineering, and he heads up the firm's plumbing and fire protection engineering department. With 20 years of experience, Miguel has developed deep technical expertise in the design of plumbing and fire protection systems. He brings a passion for engineering, paired with strong communication skills to deliver value to their clients through successful projects. His experience spans a wide range of project types, including high-rise corporate interiors, schools, and healthcare facilities, and he's participated on New York City's Code Revision Committee, working with the Fire Protection Committee to update the fire protection codes for the 2026 code cycle. He's also a frequent contributor as a subject matter expert on local podcasts discussing fire protection topics, and we know, Miguel, one of those important workshops that we will be doing at the conference is dealing with battery storage and fire protection. But I want to welcome you both to the podcast and to our studio today. Let's just talk a little bit about why both of you felt it was important to join the Clean Energy Action Coalition. Tony, we'll start with you.
First, I'd like to thank you, John, for having us here and allowing us to be part of this really important initiative. As you said in the introductory comments, we really need a grid that's reliable, affordable, and sustainable. Without that, we're all in trouble. So that was something that was very important to me, very important for the industry that I work with, because if we don't have this reliable network, this reliable grid, we're all going to be in trouble. If we think about it, if power goes out, and we've had a lot of issues. Power consumption, electric consumption is up 20% over the last 10 years alone. If we go down, what happens? For the first hour, you're okay, right? For the first day, becomes a struggle. For a week, now there's really chaos. It's chaos in the economy, it's chaos in your personal life, and it's something that we all need to address together. This is not a me problem. This is not my industry problem. This is an everyone problem.
And I think that raises the point for why the Business Council of Westchester has invested so much of our time, but also our passion to this issue. Because if we're going to continue to recruit and retain businesses here, we need to demonstrate that we have a reliable and affordable and a sustainable grid. Miguel?
Yeah, energy, there's a lot of engineering that goes in that. And so that's very important as a principal of an engineering company. But one of the things I've learned is that it's going to take all of us to get this done, and it's a huge challenge, and it's an important challenge that just affects everyone. So it's going to take the whole gambit of our community here in Westchester and all the businesses and residents.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't do a shout out to Ron Kamen, who is the Executive Director of the Clean Energy Action Coalition. We are in year 2 of this coalition. We have 130 members, and all of the members are involved in this process in one way or another, whether they're doing solar, whether they're doing geothermal, battery storage. They're in other related business, legal, fire protection. Everyone is engaged in this, and Ron is the conductor that keeps all the trains on the track. So we want to thank him for his work. Let's now talk about the conference, because we have put together what I think is a really important agenda, keying on some of the issues that we hope stakeholders and business leaders will want to be engaged in and hear. And you two are the co-chairs. I don't know if that means you were the 2 last men in the room and when this came up, but you really have taken a real leadership role. So I just want to hear your thoughts on the conference and what you're hoping people will get out of it.
Yeah, I think, we're still in our infancy in the coalition, but, we are springboarding off of what we did last year. So last year with our first conference, sold out, 150 attendees. It was really amazing. There was a lot of energy. No pun intended. Yes, pun intended. In the room, and the growth and the energy that we've had since then, I think, has really empowered us to really take what we've done last year, really grow it, and it's something I think that is absolutely critical. It's critical for all of the industries in the county, and the efforts of the BCW. With Ron Kamen leading us and the passion and energy that he has for this coalition, I think is really taking us to the next step. So, we're working with, municipal officials, we're working with county officials, we're working beyond that, we're working with the state. And the lineup that we have for this conference, I think, is going to blow away what we did last year.
Miguel?
Yeah. I can remember when I got roped in, I think I accepted an invitation to have coffee with Ron, and I guess that's, there's no such thing as a free lunch or a free coffee. You this is how I ended up here, but just super important, and to make sure that there's a lot of technical that goes into it as well, so that we get that addressed, and in a way that we can bring it to what non-engineers can understand, right? Because everyone needs to understand this. I've had the opportunity to attend some city council meetings now, and I see we've got the regular people. This impacts them, and their voice matters too. So I just want to make sure that we brought an engineering perspective in a way that we can relate to everyone, because everyone needs to understand it to be a part of the solution towards it.
Our guests this afternoon are Tony Gioffre, who's a managing partner at Cuddy and Feder, and Miguel Quintanilla, who is a principal of Collado Engineering. Both of them are the co-chairs for the BCW's Clean Energy Action Conference, which will be on Tuesday, April 14th. Let's talk about some of we are going to have and hear from Justin Driscoll, who is the president and CEO of the New York Power Authority, and obviously they play a key component in this evolving process as we build this new energy system. But we also are going, and we will hear from our county executive, Ken Jenkins, as well. But we also have some breakout panels and workshops that you all are engaged in. One is on the power through storms, affordable, reliable energy, and stormwater infrastructure. One is on show me the money, unlocking incentives that make clean energy happen. And I know that Tony, one of your partners, Ian Nichols, is going to moderate that. Talk to us a little bit about what we hope we'll hear from that panel.
Right, as we've talked about, how do we get this effectuated? And this doesn't come easy. And these projects that power the entire economic climate of the county don't happen regularly. And we all know that things are becoming more and more difficult, and things are being underwritten. They're being underwritten again. And without the appropriate incentives and to unlock these projects to allow them to happen, they're not going to happen. We're seeing that regularly. So with the panel that my partner Ian is going to be moderating, we have some real fantastic panelists. We have Adam Salgado, who is the executive director of the IDA and the commissioner of development in New Rochelle. We have Joan McDonald for the Westchester County Deputy Executive Director, Con Ed, Demetrius Fantis. So we're going to have a really robust panel that's going to be discussing how do we unlock these incentives in order to make the economic climate better and projects happen.
And again, I think when you think about the folks that are going to be on that panel, all of them are engaged on a daily basis in different areas of how we have seen in just the city of New Rochelle such a renaissance in terms of development, which is exciting because it's bringing in new residents, it's creating jobs, it's bringing in, it's bringing in revenue to the city, but we need a power system to be able to support it and continue to move forward. So I think this will be a very important one. Miguel, you're also going to be overseeing a panel that, again, gets to some of the biggest challenges that we're still facing, which is the truth about battery storage. We have municipalities in Westchester County that have either put bans or moratoriums on battery storage. Battery storage has to be part of this equation. And so the misinformation that's out there, the fear that's out there, the anxiety, I'm hoping that this panel that you're going to be chairing will begin to hopefully lower that temperature, if you will.
Absolutely. I mean, to say that we haven't come a long way in battery storage safety, we have. And that's, if you think about the fire safety history as well, that's kind of the history of it. You do have some unfortunate events, and that leads to more safe systems, and that's what's going on in battery storage. And now we're to a point, we've got different technologies, we've got different monitoring systems, we can detect issues earlier, and the batteries themselves are more robust. So we're going to shed some light on the batteries today are not the batteries that caught on fire 5 years ago. It's significantly different. So we'll be able to address that, and hopefully everyone can learn and feel more comfortable with that technology.
And John, if I could just jump in,
sure.
I think that's an incredibly important point and something that we really need to focus on. When we take a look at what's happening in Westchester County right now, I believe there's 10 communities. The count right now is 10 communities that have adopted moratoria, whether it's on battery energy storage systems or solar. And that's a real issue for us, because if we can't address what's happening at the local municipal level to allow these solutions to happen, it's going to create a problem for us. So the education needs to happen, and beyond the conference, the BCW and the coalition are going to be doing a lot of educational outreach, but I think this is going to really help us start off and get that information out there. So we're hoping that municipal officials come. We hope that these planning board members come. It's going to be a critical piece to addressing this solution.
My guests today are Tony Gioffre, who's the managing partner at Cuddy and Feder, and Miguel Quintanilla, who's the principal of Collado Engineering, and both of them are our co-chairs for the BCW's Clean Energy Action Conference, which will be taking place on Tuesday, April 14th at Windrose on Hudson in Ossining, New York. Please go to our website, thebcw.org, to register to attend the conference. We've been talking about the various workshops, panels, breakout sessions that we'll be having. I want to go back to the battery storage and even the solar moratoriums that we're seeing. When I've gone in front of some of the town boards, I know they get angry with me because when I ask them to rethink what they're doing, I always end with, what's your plan B? And they don't have a plan B, and I think that also needs to be addressed. We don't say that to be condescending. We say that because if you're going to do these bans and moratoriums, how do you build a reliable system for your communities. So, Tony, I know you've gone through some of these community boards. What are some of the things that you hear that, again, we need to address and, again, lower the anxiety level?
Yeah, I think it's a critical issue, whether it's what we're talking about right now or any land use matter. And I regularly appear before boards. I'm out with boards week in, week out, multiple times a week. And when we talk about solar, battery energy storage systems, it's really a fear. It's an uneducation. Unfortunately, as good as cell phones are and social media are, there's a lot of misinformation that's being spread out there. And that bleeds into the CEQA process, into the municipal review process of these. People hear about the one car that caught fire years ago based upon, as Miguel indicated a few minutes ago, old technology. Those things don't happen anymore. So we need to really address that. We need to be part of the solution in educating people, and particularly the municipal officials and the board members that are rendering these decisions, that they're reviewing CEQA. Because CEQA can be used as a sword, it can be used as a shield. It really needs to be an educational component. It really needs to be, what are the issues? Let's talk about it. Is there mitigation that could be done? And let's talk about what really is the issue, rather than rely on what I saw somebody on social media talk about. John, I know you quote what I say all the time is, I don't call them NIMBYs anymore. It's cave people, citizens against virtually everything. Because if I see it on Facebook, it must be true.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a challenge. And Miguel, you are so engaged in, again, the education process because you have seen the new technology and the new fire safeties. When you talk to fire officials in New York City and in the region, what are they hearing? What are their concerns? And again, what are some of the things that we can be doing with them to try to educate the public?
Well, the good thing about fire officials is they're already educated on fire and their processes, and they know their capabilities. So this is a pretty good group to work with. I find when we get in front of them and give them that education, they become very comfortable with it very quickly. They understand what they got to do. Like on a battery, they will sometimes smoke, and in the beginning, the fire department thought, okay, we just go into the smoke with an oxygen mask, but a battery, that smoke is actually flammable, so that would catch on fire. So they were worried about that. But once they got educated on that, then we learned systems. You got to ventilate the area first, and then you can go in and attack. So once they get that education, they very quickly become comfortable with the technology and what we're doing, and they've made asks, and that's been written into the guidelines and codes, and so they've gotten to be a very safe place. And then just to kind of expand on Tony's point, one thing that I got to do this year is I actually went to a board meeting for the first time in my own town, which unfortunately banned Best. I would say everyone who's listening who understands these topics, I encourage you to go to those, because I feel they do listen to their residents more than they'll listen to an outsider that comes in and saying they're an expert. And if you can, voice that we need these solar systems, these battery energy storage systems, we need these things, they'll listen to you, and that will also help move the needle a bit.
One of the things that I didn't know, and that's, it's always good to continue to learn things during this journey, is, again, one of the concerns that some of the municipalities had were the stress that this would put on their volunteer firefighters. And that's a legitimate concern, because volunteer firefighters are just that. They're volunteers, and they're stretched very thin. The safety training that full-time fire department employees are getting, can that be given in a way that's not going to burden volunteer firefighters?
Absolutely. And I'm friends with one up in Briarcliff, the chief up there, and yeah, the training's pretty simple, pretty easy, and he's not worried about the added stress. They're not exceptionally hard to deal with. Unfortunately, some of them you have to let them burn out, but you do the other safe things, like I said, good ventilation, you put them in the right areas.
Well, we're fortunate that you'll be moderating that panel on the truth about battery storage and fire risk at the Business Council's Clean Energy Conference on April 14th. Let's shift to CEQA for just a second. And again, don't want to get into the weeds. So again, that stands for the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. I was in the State Assembly when we did the second round of CEQA reform in the legislature. And again, the intent of CEQA was to be transparent, was to give the communities an opportunity to listen, to learn, and to raise concerns about projects that were happening in their community or in their backyard, if you will. But now, CECRA is used as an agent of delay many times. And we have seen too many of our members who have made an investment in saying we want to build in Westchester County, but we can't spend 7 or 8 years in court dealing with this process. The governor has raised this year in her budget proposal to try to do some reforms for CECRA. When you see the governor's proposals, do you think that's a good first step?
Well, I think the discussion is any good step, because we need to talk about it. Generally, what's happened in the past is anytime there's been a change, it's been further delay. There's been further complications. There's been, while the intent, I think, is to try to further refine what we've done and learn from what's happened in the past and the impediments to transparency and appropriate processing. Unfortunately, it's just the secret form alone has gotten longer. So there's more information that's needed up front. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's used as a weapon, again, for delay. It's death by a thousand cuts, because oftentimes there's only so much time you can spend in the land use and zoning process, and there's only so much money that you can throw at it. At a certain point, you need to cut bait, and you're going to go to communities where your dollars are going to be spent better. You're going to get through the process faster. That's why New Rochelle has been wildly successful with the downtown zoning, because there's a legitimate process that defines the certainty of the time that you're going to be in zoning, and so people are going to go to communities not where there's moratoria or there's contemplated moratoria for a BESS or a solar solution. They're going to go to communities and invest in the communities that are going to listen and have an appropriate process.
And again, I think it comes down to understanding fact from fiction. And if we can streamline the CECRA process to still give communities that platform to be able to raise concerns, but again, not turn it into years and years of not just the appropriate community planning board that it goes in front of, but then it goes into court as well.
No, and I'm not saying we need to roll over and just roll things through. I think we need to provide the appropriate information. That's what the CECRA process was formed for. It's in order to determine what are the things that we need to be evaluating here. So let's get the information in. Let's evaluate it appropriately with appropriate standards in an appropriate and reasonable time frame so that we can get through the process.
And that's been one of our legislative priorities at the Business Council of Westchester. We only have a few moments left. Again, I want to thank both of you for standing up and being the chairs of our conference. If there was one thing you'd want to get out there to the public to why they should attend the April 14th conference, Miguel, what would that be?
I think we're going to have something for everyone. You're going to learn a lot. And for the architects out there, there's going to be there's a continuing education credit segment in one of the breakouts. So a lot to be discussed.
Tony?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a powerhouse, robust panels and breakout sessions. As Miguel said, there's going to be something for everybody. So the breakout sessions, you're going to choose which session you want to attend. And I think everybody's going to take something away, and it's going to be an educational component from the leaders in the industry. And
just to let our listeners know, the panels and the breakout sessions will cover subjects from power through the storm, affordable, resilient energy and stormwater infrastructure, the interactive roundtable on climate-smart communities, workforce development, the truth about battery storage and fire risk, which Miguel will be leading, innovative stormwater, resiliency and finance modeling, and renewable fuels. So we hope people will take advantage of all of this, attend the conference. Again, go to our website, the bcw.org, to register, and we look forward to seeing many of you there on April 14th. I want to thank our guest again, Tony Gioffre, who is the managing partner at Cuddy & Feder, and Miguel Quintanilla, who is the principal of Collado Engineering and the co-chairs of our energy conference. And again, please come on April 14th. And as always, we want to again thank our sponsors, Con Edison and Verizon.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows: Leadership Unleashed, What's Trending, Advocacy and Politics Unplugged, the Member Spotlight, and Nonprofit Voices of Impact. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and the prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more about the Business Council of Westchester, please go to thebcw.org.